If you watched the previous movie about mixing color, this next bit is going to make a bit more sense. I wanted to take a look at blend modes, and this is the different ways that you can mix the light, if you will, using these blend modes. So if you've used Photoshop, you're probably familiar with blend modes. And once again, these symbols need to be movie clips for this to work. Otherwise, if it's a graphic symbol, we don't have that option to do these blend modes. So I've got several olives on just a gray, 2 shades of gray striped background so that we can start to see these in action. Now I'm not going to animate these. You can't change the blend mode over time like we can color effects. But watch what happens. Let's just apply some of these. So Darken is going to take the darker of the 2 shades of color and display that. So you can see that where our color is lighter, we don't see it, and where the color is darker, like this more olive color is darker than the gray, these greens are darker than this gray, it displays those colors, it darkens them. Multiply is sort of similar in that it seems like in our minds it's adding, but remember, it's backwards. It's actually subtracting the color but blending it with the background color, and so on and so forth. So lighten is going to choose whichever color is lighter and mix them. In this case, that light gray band is the lighter color. Obviously this is not the lighter color, so we see the olive here more and the gray here. We can just go down the list and kind of take a look at each of these. I don't have enough olives on the screen to do them all. Screen is adding, which means it's getting brighter, so it's adding the colors of our olive to the background color. Therefore we get brighter and lighter. And let's do a couple others. Let's look at some of the oddball ones. Subtract is going to more or less give us the complement. It's going to subtract our greens and our red from our grays, and obviously when it subtracts the green from the darker gray, we get very close to black. And then we also have invert, which is going to, if it were just black and white, it would change it from black to white, but with color it takes the value of the color, whatever that may be, translates it to grayscale, and then it inverts that. So this is just a little preview of mix. Let's keep going with it. I've set up some scenes to save time. I've taken some gray bars and just put them on the stage. And what I'm going to do then is go to the next scene where we're going to convert them into various colors. So let's take a look at what I've got here. If we look at them one by one, I've just taken my gray bar, stretched it out into different sizes, and then applied a color, not a blend mode just yet. I've applied a color to each one by one, and you can see that I've just chosen random different colors. This is all the same rectangle, you'll notice, and it is a graphic because this one's not animating. So this is a rectangle that I've tinted blue. Next, this is a rectangle that I've tinted aqua. This is a rectangle that I've tinted a darker blue, and I've got varying levels of the tint, so you can go up to 100 if you prefer. It's going to give you a little different effect. This is one that I've squashed and tinted with green, etc., etc. And here's another one that I've tinted with that. So given that, again, I did this to save time for our little movie here. I went to the next scene and then randomly animated them. So one at a time, I took this rectangle, just made it move across, and I've added layer by layer. Each one moves a little differently, and you can see they overlap and whatnot. This isn't like very well planned, but you could, if you wanted to, control it more. One of them I just had sit still, and one of them near the top, in fact, let me hide all these others. This particular one I actually had change width and get narrower. So right now they're just a bunch of rectangles. If I look at them, they are going to just animate in that fashion. And already that's kind of a neat look. But let's take it to the next level. What I've done here and you can see all sorts of other interesting color effects happening, is just go through them again, and let's hide them all, one by one, and I've applied some color effects. Now I believe I left the lowest level as just normal. Let's click on them. Oh, I have to unlock them to take a look at that. Okay, so this sky has the tint on it, but let's focus on, I left that one a graphic. So it must be normal. Let's go to the next one. So this one has an overlay effect. So here it is with the overlay. It's the red that we're looking at. Remember, if it were normal, it's a solid red, but I chose overlay so that when it goes over that other rectangle, we get an interaction of color. You can really see it clearly right there. And so on and so forth. So this next level of rectangle, I've given the add effect. Remember, it's going to add itself, which when it was normal was a bright blue, and it's currently overlaying that red. So when it has the add put to it, it becomes bright pink. It's adding the brilliance of the blue to that pink. When it goes over the green, which is normal, it adds that bright blue to the green. All right, so on and on. Each rectangle, this one that sits still, has a effect of, I have more than one thing selected, has an effect of overlay. So you can see where this is headed. For your exercise, this is what I'd like you to do, is just choose something. It can be rectangles, it can be circles or stars, whatever you prefer, and create a little overlay animation where you're seeing the effects of layers as they interact with each other using the display modes.